It was a scandal that everybody was talking about for all sorts of different reasons. Not only reasons having to do with relationships between men and women, infidelity, sex and power, but also things having to do with the economy and the role that he had played, the timing of when he went down. There were all sorts of stories floating around, and it seemed to me a really interesting story for all sorts of reasons, but in ways that I couldn't quite grasp or necessarily articulate. So I thought, well, maybe by telling the story, I will come to some sense of that. And, you know, to answer the latter part of the question, I mean, I guess I would say that I made the film to say what I wanted to say. In other words, what's included, why it's included, to come up with a kind of overall portrait of this event, I hope will be provocative. It's been interesting for me to say it, but the best way I can say, if I could have said it more simply, I wouldn't have gone to the trouble of making the film, I guess I would say.
Go ahead. Over there in the back, right there.
Have you seen it? Has Spitzer seen it?
No, I invited him to have a screening earlier this week. He hasn't seen it yet, to my knowledge. I suspect he'll see it soon.
Go ahead.
Do you think he'll try to make another run at any type of public service or public office, and if so, do you think he could be successful?
The question is, do I think that Eliot Spitzer will make another run? I mean, I think there's no question that he's become more and more public about certain key issues relating to the political economy. I think he's deeply frustrated. I know he's deeply frustrated that he's on the sidelines. It's a little bit like, he feels that this is his time in the wake of the economic meltdown. And so I think he wants back in. The question is whether the people are willing to let him back in. And I think that's an open question, and we'll have to see.
Go ahead.
Does Spitzer or anybody in the film have any financial interest in the success of the film?
No, Spitzer does not have any financial interest in the success of the film.
Go ahead.
Nor does anybody who appears in the film.
You didn't mention Ashley Dupre as somebody you wanted to interview, and the question that I have about that and her is, do you think that she is consciously acting in some way to thwart any attempt at a comeback of Spitzer, or is it strictly, I see where the money is and I'm going there? Or is she a pawn that doesn't even know what she's being used as?
The question is, I didn't mention that I would have wanted to have interviewed Ashley Dupre, and the question is, what does she know now? Is she doing this consciously, or